Okay, what are we looking at here?
So this is actually a chimney I inspected like within the last 7 days. This is a chimney in Woodland Hills. This is a brick chimney and the inside is cracked. There's more pictures of it. This is a structural crack. Where you can see it penetrating into the brick right there. I don't know if you can see that right
here.
Yeah, right there. And it spreads across usually more than one side of the flue. So and it's usually not uniformly like a straight line. It usually steps down or up.
A step crack.
A step crack, it's called. Yeah, exactly. So that's what they call it.
Now, whereabouts inside there is this? Is this at the bottom, in the middle, at the top?
So on this one, it was right at the roof line. That is an area usually where the chimney I've seen crack is at the roof line, or there's a shoulder area where the chimney tapers into from the wider base to there. Those are typically areas where the chimney will crack. So, but the homeowner, I did this for a homeowner, not somebody who was buying the house, but they were like, they had no idea that their chimney, and it was, they didn't have any idea that their chimney was cracked, and they were living there for years, and
they've been using it.
Well, actually, they didn't say they use it that much, but yeah, imagine you using that and there's a crack all the way through, and there's like wood right there, the roof's right there, so, but sometimes a chimney could look perfect on the outside and there will be a crack, a big crack in this inside, or vice versa. You can see a giant crack on the outside but there's more pictures in there if you want to see. But
so one thing I want to point out that we haven't talked about yet is my understanding is that when a chimney flue is leaking, and that means heat is leaking through these cracks.
Yeah.
It's not like water's leaking through it. I'm sure some cases you do have water intrusion issues because of that. But what I'm talking about now is the heat from the fireplace when it's being used.
Exactly.
The heat that penetrates these cracks and then reaches the other side of that concrete block or brick or whatever it is. If there's wood over there,
and it
keeps on heating up, that wood gets so hot it can ignite.
Exactly.
That's what people, I don't think they understand. They think, oh, well, how is it going to catch fire if it's way up here and my fire's way down here? It's the heat that dries out that wood, and it gets so hot it just ignites on its own.
Yes, that's exactly what happens.
That's how fires start. That's
exactly right.
That's how fires start.
The wood dries out, exactly what you said. That's the process. It dries out, and then at lower temperatures, it can ignite.
Yep.
Then when it's very dried out, it's a process.
Yeah, so I just think a lot of homeowners would not consider, think of that. It's not just like thinking of it.
That's true.
How's that going to catch fire? What's the big deal? I can do that later. That's not something you want to do later. You want to
exactly.
Do it now.
And so there's the fire safety aspect of brick chimneys, but in LA especially, there's the structural safety aspect. Because who knows when there's going to be another big earthquake, and and perfectly not structurally damaged chimneys will get damaged in a big earthquake.
Sure.
You already have a pre-damaged chimney, so it's important to, know and correct the issue for your safety as living in the property.
So let me ask you this as a homeowner.
Yeah.
As a homeowner, hey, why do I have these metal bars attaching my chimney to my roof? Or why do I have metal bars attaching my chimney in the attic to the ceiling joists in my attic?
Oh, okay. So that was probably structurally engineered. A lot of times, in the attic, I don't see that much, but I have seen that, and that's usually a structurally engineered bracing for a chimney.
Now, would that be for earthquake seismic activity?
Yeah, for earthquake seismic activity, or before, if you don't want to rebuild it to the LA City detail, the approved repair, you can hire a structural engineer, and they can drop bracing plans and then have the city approve those plans and then do what the engineer says and then have the city inspect it. So that is another way to shore up a chimney.
Yeah, because I was just wondering, what's the procedure like? Does the chimney have to be so many feet above the roof for you have to put a brace?
Okay, yeah. So, on the rebuilds, that look like a masonry chimney. You know, they have stucco, like you were saying.
Yeah.
If the chimney is higher than 4 feet and shorter than 6 feet, you're supposed to put one brace, the chase to the roof.
Okay.
It's supposed to have one brace. And then if it's more than 6 feet, it's supposed to have a double brace system.
Right.
Yeah, that's required.
I don't see those too often, but I do see them.
Yeah.
I do see the attic mounts pretty often, actually.
Oh, okay.
I see quite a bit of them. I couldn't find a photo.
Are you talking about the straps that attach to the ceiling? Yeah, that's actually standard with masonry construction, is to have, there's these called seismic straps. They, when they built the brick chimney,
they're like L brackets. They're like L brackets. And
Yeah.
They just bolt right down.
Yeah, exactly. So
To the ceiling joist in the attic. So, okay. All right, cool. Want to move on to the next one? Anything
Sure.
else?
Oh, yeah. That's, I mean, just the same chimney. You can see how deep the crack goes in, and it travels all the way from that wall down and step cracks down to there. So just more illustrative, I don't know. So that's a structurally cracked chimney.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious too.
Yeah.
That's a pretty obvious crack. And it must be hard to detect stuff too with all that soot in there.
Yeah, it can be when they're very dirty, but it's not. That one is pretty clean compared to what I sometimes see.
Now, isn't there a chance of a fire hazard because of too much soot buildup and stuff?
Oh, okay, yeah, they definitely. If you have too much buildup, the buildup can catch fire and cause a chimney fire.
What is the buildup actually called?
It's called creosote.
It is creosote. Okay.
Yeah, and it just it makes a very hot fire. That could heat the chimney up with the chimney fire so hot the heat will get to the exterior and sometimes causes fires when it's not cleaned. If it's not cleaned enough, so you're supposed to. I mean, the NFPA recommends annual cleanings. I mean, if you're not in Southern California, people are not using it that much, but if you're burning wood regularly, you should have your chimney swept.
So the buildup of the creosote comes from the fire burning.
It comes from the wood fuel burning, exactly. You won't get a real buildup from gas logs in a wood burning fireplace.
I see.
Typically, you'll just get it from wood burning.
Just from regular real wood.
Yeah.
Real wood.
Yeah.
All right.
This is more of the same crack traveling across. That cracked all the way around the chimney. That was the same.
Oh, wow. So was it wobbly on top when you pushed on it?
So then the owner told me that the chimney it wasn't when I was there tipping over, and she had her contractor move the chimney back. So this chimney was definitely so this probably was shifted and they put it back. Yeah. So she had some idea. I guess she didn't understand chimneys and the contract. I don't know why the contractor did that, but again, why do contractors do what they do? I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe someday they can tell us.
Yeah. Okay. So then this is another inside of a brick chimney flue. They will be lined with clay tubes, basically.
Yep.
They're called clay liners. These can crack too. Cracks in them don't necessarily indicate like that wouldn't indicate structural damage. They crack from moisture intrusion.
Right.
Because a lot of chimneys have rebar as metal reinforcement in it, and if they expand, they can start cracking the liner, or moisture can do that. So, but when you have cracked liners, he can get through the cracks, so they need repair too. So these are things that a home inspector wouldn't be able to see that, but you would see that in a level 2 inspection.
Now, I got a question for you as a home inspector now.
Yeah.
I'm wearing many hats today.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, old masonry chimneys don't have rebar.
Exactly.
Okay.
They do not.
Now, you just mentioned rebar. So that would be a concrete block chimney? What would that be made of? Just poured, maybe like a tilt up, all poured concrete?
Well, tilt ups did have rebar in them. Yep. Those are a manufactured concrete chimney. Yep. So they have actually standards of whatever the engineering was, and the listing agency that approved it for safety, who tested it to make sure the product was safe.
Right.
But those had rebar in it. Brick chimneys have rebar, block chimneys, anything. So there was a big earthquake in the early 30s. I think it was 31 or 32 that damaged a bunch of unreinforced chimneys. So the codes changed to reinforced masonry at that time. So
how do I know what's reinforced and what's not? Is it going to have a double liner of brick around from the looking down on the top?
Yeah.
How do I identify?
Oh, as a
that?
home inspector, you were asking as a home inspector.
Yeah.
So, the age of construction, anything late 30s on
would be
typically, it should have been
reinforced.
They started really, the building department started really, making sure that all the masonry construction and the
foundation anchoring was around 33.
33. See, that was right after that earthquake that I was telling you about. So I think it was 32 was the earthquake. So, so after that, this codes change but from what I've talked to old masons, is that it really started reinforced towards the end of 30s.
Yeah.
Being enforced by building department.
Yeah. There was finally some oversight.
Yeah. So, so late 30s on, you typically will see it'll be reinforced construction as a home inspector.
Right.
If it's a single brick chimney, meaning it's one layer withe, that's layer, like it's called a withe, one layer thick, then that means
they call it a withe.
The one layer brick is a withe.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So if it's a double withe, it's a double layer as a brick.
Oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard that term before.
Oh, yeah. But if you see one layer brick, you see them in the older ones, that's definitely not reinforced.
Right.
There's no bars. You can't, what is it adhering to? Yeah. So,
right.
But those ones I'm sure you notice are pretty much very in poor, most of them, not all of them, are in state of deterioration and damage from earthquakes.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was just the LA City detail diagram of how to do the transition.
Oh, okay.
So you'd have take down the brick chimney, you would put this metal cone, and then there's an adapter, and then the metal chimney would go.
Talking to Mike.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the metal chimney would. Here we go. Better. So there's this little collar here. The metal chimney would screw onto that collar. So that's what was missing on that picture, the first picture we showed.
Oh, gotcha.
Didn't have any of this. So yeah. So that will. There's rock wool insulation here that a perfect seal, so heat can't get out right there.
Sure.
And then this would all be poured concrete around there, 10 inches concrete beam.
Yeah. That would be your bond beam.
That would be the bond beam. Yeah.
Swimming pools have bond beams too.
Yeah, different. Yeah, structural. Bond beams
So kind of, if I had to explain this in layman's terms, I would say if you take a water heater exhaust pipe. As a matter of fact, I just saw this yesterday, so that's why it's fresh on my mind.
Oh, yeah.
Think about a water heater exhaust vent pipe. So yesterday I was on a job, and this was a 1960s house that was just neglected, but a great fixer-upper. I'd have loved to own it myself, to be honest with you. It was really cool. But it had a lot of shit wrong with it.
Yeah.
And one of the things was the water heater exhaust vent pipe. They got a 3-inch single wall coming up. It went up about 6 inches, and then it turned into a fatter double wall, and then it went back into a smaller. So that's basically similar to what's going on, what you were describing, because they don't have the proper fit.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to leak.
Exactly.
And it's just going to leak. So in layman's terms, that would be the easiest way for me to explain it.
Yeah.
You don't go from a big pipe to a small pipe. You go from a small pipe to a big pipe.
Yeah.
Is what you got to do in most venting situations.
Yeah.
So
this is vents. What I was, So direct vents are since 2009, this is what you'll see in new construction.
McMansions
or a new remodel.
Sure.
So it's a gas fireplace that has a glass front, and it will just get really hot like a radiator. It has radiant heat, and it just radiates heat off the glass. So this is something that you'll see since 2009. It has a vent that can either go up through the roof or out the side of the house, and it circulates air. It pulls in air. There's a double wall system here.
Yep.
Pulls in air down here, combusts it, and then exhausts it. So it has a circulating system, and all the components need to be working properly so it will operate properly.
So this is not going to have a chimney.
It'll have a vent. A metal vent.
Right. So I'm just saying, for a homeowner, if you have a direct vent system in your house, you're not going to have an actual chimney unless it was just decorative.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the fireplace is decorative?
No. Chimney flue going up.
Oh, you mean the chase is decorative?
The chase, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Let's call it the flue.
Yeah, so. I get it. Yeah, sometimes they'll just have those for architectural reasons, just for the house, but they're not. There's no vent in the chase. Yeah.
So you may look at a house driving by it and go, "Oh, there's no chimney on this house," and then you go inside, and oh, there's 3 fireplaces because they're all direct vents.
Exactly.
That's my point.
That's right. You're right.
The whole design of it is different.
Yes,
completely.
exactly.
It's a completely different animal, and you don't really have to scope too far in that one, do you?
Not on the side one. Sometimes they go through roof, but yeah. And I like these better because less chances of installation errors when it's a short run, you know? Than 2 stories.
There's only 1 elbow there.
Yeah. And then one other thing that's just for a homeowner's awareness is these need to have screens on the glass fronts. Very important because especially if the homeowner has children, because they get so hot that, and sometimes I see them, they don't have screens on them, but because glass gets hundreds of degrees hot and it can burn somebody. So it's in the manuals for them that they need a screen. But
okay, that's a good point.
When they first started installing them, they weren't required. So some older ones didn't have screens. So it's just important to have screens so that people don't accidentally get burnt.
Sure. So I'm noticing on this here so that's the 2 different types of venting, or is that exactly how one would look?
No, it's just the options. Okay. It would have 1 vent. You could actually, it would usually have 1 vent, or this has air that pulls in on this wall space here.
Yep.
You can have one where there's 2 vents, 1 pulls in air and 1 just exhausts instead of having a dual.
It's like a water heater. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
tankless water heater.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, that was just the same. The first picture we saw that there was it's just a gap right here where he can get through.
Oh, wow. That's a huge gap.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Much more of the same there.
So this is a different type of fireplace that you'll see a lot. It's a wood burning. It's called a factory built or prefab fireplace.
Is that like a 0 clearance? Something like
People
that?
call, so 0 clearance. Some of them are called 0 clearance. But 0 clearance is kind of like a misnomer. There's spacers on the outer walls of these fireplaces inside the wall. And you can, like it looks kind of like just the thing sticking out of the fireplace. So
like sheet metal.
Like sheet metal, they usually look like a V. Right. And you can go up to those.
So you can screw them. You can screw them in.
Well, no, just that you can put materials up to those bumps.
I see.
Or they're called spacers.
Yep.
Or standoffs. That's 0 clearance to there, but not up against the actual firebox in the wall. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can actually see on the top there, those are the spacers that I was talking about.
Yep.
So you're nothing below those. But basically these are made in factories and installed by a prefab chimney contractor. And it's basically,
I gotta confess.
Yeah.
I got a confession to make.
Yeah.
I actually remodeled one of my houses years ago, and I installed one of those.
How did you do you think?
I think I did pretty damn good.
Oh, good. I've seen...
Because I used to frame houses.
Oh, okay, great.
I'm well aware of wood being next to a fireplace is not a good thing.
Yeah, I got
So I actually bought... Back then it was called like a 0 clearance.
Yeah.
I remember them talking about that. And they delivered it. I installed it myself, set it all up, leveled it, and I had someone else come in and do the flues.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Yeah, I just needed the clearancers are important on these.
And the house hasn't burnt down yet.
Good.
It's still there.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah, and that's what's important. The clearances that you make sure the clearances are correct. But yeah, these are at each ceiling or
fire stops. Yep.
Fire stops are important, so fire doesn't spread up the chase to a second level and into the attic.
Sure.
And then they have a cover where the chimney sticks through of the structure, the chase structure, so rain doesn't get down there. That's, so one thing on manufactured fireplaces, you're supposed to follow the installation requirements from the manufacturer, and building code states that. So that's the standard of construction or the building code, or so you're supposed to abide by that standard.